service in, let's see, 19, boy.
What war were you in?
I wasn't in the war.
Or in the service?
I was in.
Okay.
I went in 19. I think there's going to blank on me. Anyway, I was at Fort Riley. And I went to Fort Sheridan, Illinois to go to Cooks and Baker School, and then I come back to Fort Riley. And then from Fort Riley, I went to out to Washington, D.C., just outside of Washington, D.C. And that's where I finished my I was discharged from there. I got stuck in I enlisted for 3 years, and 2 years and 9 months later they froze the discharges, so I had 4 years instead of my 3. And then I came back here, married to a girl from down by Blaine. She was a bird. And I had GI training at Osborne's Body Shop. That's where we were in the body shop business. And I worked for Harold for several years. And I bought the business. He retired and I bought the business. And I had it about 3 years. And I sold it. I can't remember who I sold it to, but anyway, I sold it. I went to work for Co-op. And there I drove the grass truck for Co-op for several years. And they went out of the gas business, so I worked on the farm with Dean Constable for a couple of years. Then I retired on Social Security.
Do you remember any wrecked vehicles that were brought in or anything that went on in the Osborne Body Shop?
Oh, there was a lot going on.
What stories would you tell about that?
Well, I always got a big kick out of the guy that had the hatchery right across the street.
Markley?
Markley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, there was another guy that wasn't Markley, but he had the eggs and stuff. But anyway, every night at quitting time, Harold and this guy from across the street would meet out in the middle of the street and flip a coin, see who got heads or tails, and they'd do that every night. I can still see them going out there right in the middle of the street, flipping the coin up. They each flip a coin up, and if there's heads or tails, well, that was whichever one that got it. But they'd done that for years.
Oh, and then the other one got the coin.
Yeah. I think it was flipping quarters.
Quarters, yeah.
Real heavy gamblers.
Oh, how funny.
Did you work at the shop when Harold was welding on that gas truck or whatever it was and it exploded?
No, he'd already blown that up before I got there. He was electric welding on it, and they'd flushed the tank out and everything, but there were still fumes in there. And when he struck that arc to weld, shaboom, it went the truck. But he was up on a ladder, and he had big black bruises on both of his knees where that ladder threw out, and he grabbed and pulled himself back and bruised his knees.
Huh.
Yeah, we used to have quite a time. Now there was Lyle Godbout and Charlie Kraft and myself worked for Harold. And
Did they have a place where they painted the vehicles too?
yeah,
Like a,
We
what
took-
was your, go ahead.
we took the dents out of them and painted them up.
What was your specific job?
Well, then just the next car in.
Oh, next car in.
We run a lot of cars through there,
Mhm.
but, oh, we done paint jobs and all that, but, and, it was mostly just body and fender work and Harold's brother-in-law, he had that shop across this back alley there, where they aligned wheels and stuff on cars. Oscar Harris run that for him.
Okay.
And that was us. They were brother-in-laws.
Would this be where the trailer factory is now? Okay. The Sharp Manufacturing, okay, that building there.
And Vic Stanley had the grocery store just above us, or just up next to the square. And then there was
Do you have any story to tell on Vic Stanley?
oh, not too much, no.
Okay.
But, and there was a chiropractor, Dr. Walker, was up on the corner
Oh, where John Elmborg's,
where Elmore, yeah.
his attorney's shop, or attorney's, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was,
Doc Walker, okay. Did Doctor live upstairs then in the apartment, or do you know?
no.
Okay.
No, I think they rented that out to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had tenants up there. I don't remember who they were, but
Now, did you sell your business to Russell Stryker, maybe?
no, I can't think of what his name was.
Okay.
But
So I know Russell had some stuff in there at one time.
Probably while we were gone.
Well, when we were back.
well, I don't think the guy lasted very long after I sold out.
Okay.
But he was just a young kid and clear full of ambition and nothing to apply it to. But anyway, he didn't last too long there. And then I went to work for the co-op driving the gas truck after I got out of the body shop business. I did that for several years.
Who else worked up there?
Oh, let's see. Boy, names are hard to come by with me
Yeah.
anymore.
Names
I'm
and
getting
dates.
in that age of life. Yeah. When you're 71, you're not 71, I'm 74, 75. I'll be 77 in May.
Hmm.
So, 3rd day of May, I'll be 77 years old.
So around the corner from the chiropractor should have been Gamble's,
Yeah,
and that might have been Dietrich's at that time.
Yeah, it was a gamble store, and then there was another little cafe down on the end of it, just a little walk-in place.
Oh, really? And who had that?
I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, names float away from me anymore.
What was the name of the cafe? Do you know that?
No.
Was there a large building to the east of the little cafe too then at that point? Or was that torn down? Do you remember, or was it?
No, it was kind of behind the grocery store there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harold had a building across the street from where we were at. There was a big building there. I think Joe Waters, owns it now.
Okay, the shop.
But he done wheel alignment and wheel balancing and stuff like that over in that building. And Oscar Harris was his brother-in-law, and he run that part of it, and Harold run the body shop. But they used to do a lot of wheel alignment over there.
To the west of where the chiropractor was on the corner, where the cabin is now, was there a building or anything in that area?
Not tonight, I couldn't recall, and I don't think it was. There used to be some apartments in there, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There was an apartment house at one time. Then down to the alley was where the feed store was at. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was an old man that had a hatchery. He used to hatch chickens in there. In one part of it, and the other one was feed and seed and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then across the street was a lumber yard. And then Roy Sutton just across the street. It'd be, let me get my directions.
He was south of the shop. South of
the
your shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. East from the lumber yard.
So which Sutton was that? What, you said a Sutton, what was his name?
Is it Fib? Or-
Fib? Oh,
Yeah. And that's what they called him, Fib Sutton.
okay.
But anyway, they they had that hatchery. This old man had this hatchery at the end of that block, where the feed and seed store was.
Mm-hmm.
And there was rented rooms. There's a motel right there on the corner.
Okay, yeah, that would have been the,
And there was, I think there was two old maids that run that. I can't recall their name. And then they had the paper office, was I think next to that. But
We're at 13 minutes, and how about changing the subject to the city council and mayor?
well, I was mayor, and Dr. Lawless was on the council, and what was the guy that had the drugstore?
Woody. A.A. Woody.
He was on the council, and Bill Perry, and Charlie Kraft. Let's see if I can think of anybody else. But there was five, supposed to be five on the council, wasn't there?
yeah, so you had 4 there.
Well, there's one that owned a drugstore, I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
Woody.
Yeah, Woody.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh boy.
What were some of the things you remember having to deal with back then?
Well, we laid the groundwork. My term was up before we got it put through, but they were planning the deals to get this place.
Oh, okay. It's interesting. Yeah.
And let's see, who was it? One of the councilmen and I went to Topeka got all the paperwork and stuff started on it.
Mhm.
It, I was out before it was completed, but we started it and they finished it.
Did the community think it was a good thing to do,
Well,
or did they say much?
I never heard anybody complain too much.
No, I think it's been a real good deal, yeah.
I know this place here has helped the town a lot,
Mhm.
just having it out here.
Mhm.
But yeah, I never thought I'd end up living in it. But I did.
Yeah, that's true.
Were you on the council for a term before you were elected mayor?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, just a minute, I gotta think. No, I don't think so. I think they jockeyed me into that mayor's job and twisted my arm a little bit.
Yeah. Was Ed Kittner on when you were on?
Yeah. Ed Kittner and the Doc Lawless and
A. Woody.
A. Woody and Don Roush.
Oh, John Roush. Okay.
Don Roush.
And Charlie Kraft.
Yeah, Charlie Crafter, they were
That
the
makes sense.
council.
Should be right.
Okay.
That should be at 6. Yeah.
And what was that old man's name? It was the city clerk.
You had a man that was a city clerk?
Uh-huh. And you were still meeting over in the old firehouse.
No, it was in the square there.
Oh,
in the
okay.
square.
In the fire station, I mean, the police station now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a man that, Wilma Waters would have been before Wilma Waters then?
Yes. I think Wilma took it over when he retired.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I can't think of his name either.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got a few years on me, but it's happening to me too, so, yeah.
Oh.
Well, let's see, we're going to be at 18 minutes here, and let's switch to